The piles of files aren't usually this high. Our section chief is overseas, and we're down an agent.
I heard that SSA Blake transferred to Boston.
She decided to teach full-time.
That's noble. Good for her. I am not ready for that.
No, I'm not either.
Hi, I'm Kylie Hodges with the New Music Buzz, and today I'm at Clockwork Studios chatting with Scott Gordon and Steffan Marc Fantini. How are you guys doing?
Awesome. How are you?
So, okay, I wanted to chat with you guys a little bit about being composers for CBS's Criminal Minds. How did you get into being composers for the show, and what is the role that you all play?
Wow, good question. How did we get involved with the show? We got involved with the show from the very beginning, from the pilot episode, and it was the three of us and another composer named Mark Mancina. We started on the pilot. It really worked out well, and that just, 10 years later, here we are.
So what are we working on today?
Today we're working on the 6th episode of the 10th season, if you can believe that. 10 seasons. And we're doing the scariest, creepiest possible music to freak everyone out. That's our job.
It's the Halloween episode.
That's true.
Oh, juicy. Yeah. Is there like a lot of like blood and screams and
no more than any other week? I think that's pretty much the precedent.
I'd say it's actually tame this week compared to normal in terms of blood and guts.
But it does have pumpkins and things like that in it, so it's very Halloween-y.
Yeah. And a kid in a box.
A kid in a box?
Yeah, but don't tell. It's a spoiler alert, I guess.
Spoiler alert. Oh, is there a sign, a spoiler alert sign on here? Okay, so what goes into composing a scary episode? I feel like this is already a suspenseful show. So what's that extra notch you have to do to make it a little spookier?
Well, there's a lot of stuff that goes into it. I think the way we work is we go to a meeting and we all sit down with the producers, and if there's a director that was heavily involved, they might be there. A writer might be there, editors, and the three of us, and we have a couple people that work with us. And we look at the movie, and we basically kind of listen to what their vision is. They're going to say, here we want it to be terrifying, here we want it to be emotional, here we want it to be romantic or whatever. And basically the three of us then huddle up. We usually do an eye chat. And we kind of work out themes. How scary do we want to go? How creepy do we want to make this? Where do we go? Are we going to have a theme for this week's unsub? And then we basically kind of toss around ideas and sounds and say, I got one creepier than that. Oh, really? Well, check this out. And then, Mark will throw something, or Scott, and say, oh, God, you topped me. And so we just try to kind of each week get as gruesomely terrifying with the music as need be, and that's kind of our job. So and every week it's different. Every week is a new movie with a new creep.
Garcia, he's a gun.
He is a murderer. He tried to kill you. Let me know when you're done washing his feet.
Can each of you tell me, in a condensed version, what role each of you play into composing?
We all pretty much do the same thing. So the answer will be identical. We look at the show, we divide up the music equally. We will, one guy maybe will take the scenes with all the bad guys, and one guy will maybe take the emotional scene, so we can keep it continuous and cohesive in terms of sounds and themes for particular parts of the show. But that's what we do. We split it right in thirds and just carry on.
I think part of what we do is we talk about the story a lot, and we talk about the unsub, the bad guy, and we say, what can music do to make this guy even more disturbing, to really get deeper into his mind? And the three of us have a very good competitive nature with each other, so we push each other. And that's, I think, how we come up with some really dark and disturbing and really fun and interesting parts to the music that really add almost another character to the show.
So, can you tell me how the three of you all met? I know you two are brothers, so probably early in life. Oh, how sweet of her. Tell me how Scott came into your lives.
That was, without dating ourselves, we were all kind of working in the record business for a very long time. Mark and I grew up playing in a band together. And Scott had done the same thing and got into engineering and producing, and Mark and I did that too, and our paths crossed on a Ringo Starr record that we were very fortunate to have an opportunity to work on a little bit. And Scott was working on the album, and we met, and we fell in love. And the rest was history. And we kind of worked on a couple of small indie movies before we were working on Criminal Minds, and we kind of worked with Scott on that and just kind of worked on music together. And, ever since then, we've been compadres.
It's been a bunch of years. It's been, I don't mind dating us. It's been probably 15 years, right?
So what other projects do we have going on right now, or anything coming up that you want to tell me about?
Well, we just finished 2 movies. One was called Mom's Night Out, which is a great movie, and then another one was called Space Station 76. That was a really fun movie. Scott's working on a movie right now, and what was the...
Everlasting. A movie called Everlasting. It's an indie film that we're hoping to get into the Sundance Film Festival and whatever other festivals we can make it in.
Okay, so we're going to go to a break. I'm going to talk with the guys some more, and when we come back, we're going to find out what it is that goes into making a super scary, spooky sound.
It's incredible.
Coming up next, we've got 66 Raw. Okay, so I want you guys to show me an example of what it is that makes a scary movie scary sounding.
Well, here's one thing that can make it scary. It's called a water phone. It's got water in there.
And it's not a bong?
It's not a bong, although it could be and may be one day.
Usage, no.
Right.
But he uses a bow on it.
Next week it's a bong. Today it's a scary sound, and you just bow it with this bow and... So that's one of a gazillion scary sounds that we would use.
That sounds like nails on a chalkboard.
Yeah.
Like there's someone behind you, but you can't see them, and then you get like a knife in the back a minute
The
later.
intention is to disturb you.
Yeah.
Well, it worked. That's frightening. What is this called?
It's called a water phone
A water phone.
because it's got water in it.
But it's not really a phone.
It seems like you guys have a ton of different instruments, or, that bong you had over there. Huh?
You can take almost any ordinary instrument and manipulate it to sound like anything you want it to be. The darkest thing, or even the most romantic or, heartfelt sounds can come out of almost any instrument. So that's what we do a lot of the time.
The more you mess with it, the more unique it sounds, and nobody else has that sound because we did our thing to it, and other people can do their thing, but we're doing our thing. So it's unique to what we've got going.
It sounds like you guys just play all day.
Pretty much.
This sounds too fun.
That's why they call it.
just writes itself.
They call it playing music, right? It's not working music. We're
most
playing
of the time.
music for sure.
It was a pleasure to chat with you guys. Thank you so much for having me, and I can't wait to watch that spooky, spooky episode of Criminal Minds.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.